Welcome to Impact Duty. I'm your host, Manisha Dadlani Kriplani, bringing you empowering stories of friends and people I admire. Their voices have given me joy and the momentum to share their stories with you. Deepak Tijori is a film director, actor, and producer with close to 3 decades in the film industry. He is well known for his roles in Aashiqui, Khiladi, Jeeta Wohi Sikandar, Anjaam, and more. He started his directorial career with the film Oops and has directed and produced several TV serials. Ittar is his new film about a mature love story which will be released soon. And his directorial venture Tipppsy is in production. Hi, Deepak. Welcome to Impact Duty. Thank you for joining me here.
Pleasure is all mine. It's wonderful knowing that you're doing such a great amount of work sitting out there in Zurich, and it's absolutely amazing. I'd been to Zurich actually. I've been shooting like almost more than about 2 decades now. I was there in that place, and I think it's a beautiful place. Of course, we do envy Indians staying abroad, but eventually, like my brothers, both my brothers are in US, and we always have these arguments. But I always feel that, being an Indian, at the end of the day, I love being in India, no matter how it is, no matter whatever problems that we go through as infrastructure or you name it, in whatever way. But I think, the life and the easiness out here.
And Deepak, as you mentioned, you've had a long journey within the industry, within the film industry. You've been here for more than 2 decades. How did your journey begin? Did you always know you wanted to be an actor?
Not really, actually. I don't come from the film family. I don't even belong to anybody from the film industry. So it was just that my mom used to be doing, a certain amount of radio plays, and she used to go and do some kind of. She was a Parsi Irani. Okay, so my dad was a good Jew, so it was a love marriage. So my mother's passion was the media world, the modeling world, the radio world. She used to be also doing some radio plays with Sanju's dad, Datsab, Sunil Datsab. So that time he was Balraj, his name was Balraj. So they used to call him Bali. So she used to say that, I used to be. So once in my college days when I did some amateur theater and we did some intercollegiate competition, and when I got this certificate of merit from Datsab in one of the functions, when I flashed it to my mom, so that's when she told me that, we used to be colleagues and we used to do radio plays together and we used to be called Balli. So I was like shocked. So it's like, it was, I think probably I gather that, I don't belong to that film fraternity and the family. But right. My mother had this hidden passion that my child someday, if one of my child, so we are 3 brothers and she had 3 sons. So she always wanted one of us to kind of, and pursue her passion.
Right.
And I guess it's a blessing that I am today. Her blessings are, and I'm passionate about my work in the industry, and I stuck onto it, and I'm here now, almost 3 decades.
Wonderful. And what was your first break, or how did you break into the industry? It's a tough industry, especially if you don't have the connections in there. So back when, how did you actually get your first break?
What happened was I was in the college, and that college happens to be in Juhu area. And there are a lot of media kids over there, a lot of media families over here. They're essentially based in Andheri and Juhu and Villepalli, Santa Cruz area. That time it was like most of the people were in Juhu area. Mm-hmm. So I remember that, when I was in college, I had no flair towards dramatics and stuff like that. But I love dancing. So when I was watching, these intercollegiate competition, boys and girls that the teacher was taking, and then they actually got me involved in the folk dancing competitions. I became one of the folk dancers for the college. So I used to represent college in my mom's eyes, when I actually got into it, and I realized that she really likes the fact that I am part of something which is connected with what she used to do. And she started at the back of my head, she used to always be playing that, okay, yeah, good, you should do this, good, you should pursue this. And my dad was obviously not very happy with what we were doing.
Right.
But eventually I realized that, I wanted to, do what she wanted. And then I was doing my folk dancing. And in my college, my senior was Paresh Rawal, Firoz Khan. My junior was Amir Khan. My junior was a lot of other kids. Rashtosh Gowarikar was my next door college guy. So there were all these guys who are totally into this business, and they used to be practicing theater and this and that day in and day out. And I used to watch, I used to be attracted towards it. So one fine day, they wanted, one of the college directors wanted some small little piece of dance in the play. He was making an experimental play.
Right.
And that was the time I remember he said that, what, तू तो कॉलेज का डांसर है, तू ऐसा कर, तू एक 2 मिनट का एक डांस का पीस बना और तू भी इसमें डांस कर लेना. तो मैं तो बोला, मैं डांसर आदमी हूँ, मैं फोक डांस करता हूँ, मैं थिएटर वेटर कहाँ करूंगा. एंड देन आफ्टर दैट, दैट्स हाउ इट, the first line I had to speak and I had to actually start off. I was not very comfortable. I remember very clearly, when I was standing and talking, so I could not really stand and talk properly in straight, standing on both my feet. So I used to go do a balance on the right and then the left. And then he started screaming from there, the director. He says, "Tu kya train mein kahin ja raha hai kya? Tu chupchap ek jagah pe khada rahe." And that is my first experience of, actually saying the lines. I would not even properly be able to say the lines. But later on, of course, then I got attracted towards it and I got passionate towards it because I made friends over there and there was a new life altogether. So that's the time when I became, the college actor, and then I got the awards and the best actor in dramatics and this and that. So the whole thing started. But let me tell you this, that is not how you really get work in films. When I actually thought of getting into movies, it was like disastrous. It was like suddenly a new world, and nobody gives a damn of what you've done in college. Nobody cares what certificates you've made, how good you are in dramatics, how good you are as an actor. That doesn't matter. So I came into a completely new world when I thought that I want to be an actor in films. So I had disastrous 3-4 years of my life when I did minuscule roles. I did almost the roles that you probably would have seen and never recognized me. So I did those kind of films, which were like, I was almost like a henchman in one of the movies when I started off. So there were about 4 years of my life I went through major struggle. And just about when I was giving up, I landed up with Aashiqui, the friend's role. And that too, and that's when everything changed after Aashiqui. So Bhatt Saab basically has been my mentor. He's been the person who's actually given me my first proper break, you can say. And that's where my work life and my professional life, my passionate life with cinema started. And it still goes on.
Excellent. Yes, you mentioned the key film Aashiqui, which I think you were recognized a lot for with your hand gestures. Apparently, those were really key in the film. But you've had a long list of movies that you've acted in. So that apart from Aashiqui, Khiladi, Sadak, Jeeta Wohi Sikandar, the list is endless. And what I believe people haven't really or don't know too much about is that you have actually had a bit or a stint in Gujarati film, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I'm a half Guju. So I did initially when one of my other friend who was an advertising guy, he wanted to make a Gujarati film and I told him, I said, I can't wear all those kind of costumes and do that kind of cinema. So he said, no, we'll make a film and we'll break the norm and we'll make. So what really happens now, we did an attempt about 15, 20 years ago. And there was a film called Mari Jaya or something he was making. And then because I was a Guju, he was very, very, very sure that he wanted me to be there. And I thought as long as I'm not wearing those kind of clothes and, speaking that kind of Guju. So I said, no, let's make a modern film. So he did make an attempt. I was wearing my jeans. I was wearing shirts. I was talking about city life and all that. But it was, I think, too early and Gujaratis were not really ready for it. They were still wanting to, go into those kind of costumes. So I did two movies, because back to back, there was one very big producer. While I was doing this, he insisted I do one at least. So I did that almost 20 years ago. But then after that, I probably, just could not digest to see myself wearing those clothes. And I said, no, until this whole thing changes and we really, Gujus, understand that, we need to get out of this and we need to do what contemporary cinema, which they do now, which is so
which
wonderful.
We do now.
That at least things are, so which is so good that, of course, I even read somewhere that even Paresh is now, after almost 40 years, has done his first Guju film after such a long time. So it's so wonderful. Yeah, it's so wonderful to know that the market has increased. These have kind of, the cinema has increased, and things are really working good for track.
Excellent. And and you, Deepak, have also done many different types of roles. So protagonist, antagonist, best friend of the hero. Which for you was the most challenging role? And what do you think, which role actually resonated with you?
Actually, I was just an actor. So I never really looked into whether it was a positive role or a negative role. So I never looked into, Aashiqui was just a friend's role, and then the Sadak happened, and then Khiladi happened, and that's the time when I was considered for Jo Jeeta. So Jo Jeeta also has a story to it, because Jo Jeeta, I was not really picked up when I auditioned for it. I was actually I was not accepted when the auditions went on, and I was not a part of the film when the film started. The film had actually started with another actor. And suddenly, after that, I was brought into this film almost after 75% of film. So it was crazy, I was brought in much later, and not realizing that it was a negative role. I was just doing it like it's just a guy who's an attitude guy, who's a guy with a little bit of arrogance, which we always have in our school, in our college. So these kind of kids are always there. So I continued with that. I really didn't bother about whether it was positive, negative. But I guess we did it like a school-going film. And it so happens that now the film is like magical. Everybody
honestly, yes, it's become quite the legend. And Deepak, you've actually then ventured on into directing. So you've had a lot of film that you've directed and TV serials, if I'm not mistaken. So I think Oops was your first directorial venture, if I'm not mistaken. And then there was Fareb and a couple of other movies and a whole host of TV serials. What do you think worked for you? And what do you think in retrospect you would have wanted to do better in directing?
See, of course, I am still directing. I'm actually just going into directing my next movie, which is starting after a week's time. I definitely enjoy directing because I have had some experiences as an actor where I always felt that, sometimes you want to do something as an actor and you feel that you want to explore a little more, but then there is another director who's sitting on the other side. And he kind of chops your wings and he tells you that, no, this is not what you do what I tell you.
Right.
So, you get this feeling that, you are somewhere at the down the line, you're actually a puppet. And whether you like it or you don't, whether you perform, perform what you want to perform, how you want to perform. But at the end of the day, you cannot explore. So it's like a painter, when the painter has his own canvas and he wants to, put on the easel and he wants to paint, then he wants to paint and he wants to put the colors where he wants, what he wants. So that is something which you feel that, you're just a paint. You're not the painter. You cannot have the brush in your hand. And that whole feeling all the time was wanting the brush in my hand. And that is the beautiful part about being a director. But the fact being that I'm also an actor-director, so it's wonderful that when I'm working with my actors, co-actors, I know their mindset, I know what they're thinking. If there's a problem, then why there is a problem. So I kind of make them very easy. And the whole thing gets very, very comfortable with each other. So I guess it's fun. It's a lot of excitement when I'm directing because it's like a baby that you start from the first stage that you start off, and then you see the baby grow in the stomach, and then finally the baby comes out. So it's a beautiful journey, which doesn't really happen as an actor. Yes, actor's life is a comfortable life, it's a cushy life, it's fun, but there's not too much hard work, because if you're an actor, whether you're doing a role which is a negative role or a positive role or anything, you're doing your job and you're just getting out from there. That eventually, a lot of times as an actor, you do so much work, but the director has made a bad film, and the whole film in entirety is not so good. So eventually you suddenly feel that, oh my God, this is like not happening, So I guess it's just, okay. So I guess that's the time when I felt that, that being an actor is sometimes suffocating. And that's why you always see that most of the actors always want to become directors. There are more of the actors who are eventually, and trying to be directors, because it's somewhere at the back of their head that they want to create the canvas and they want to make that painting, So I guess that is something which I started much earlier. Like my contemporaries are, still digging in and still making one film at one time or something like that. But I really wanted to jump into it. So I just stopped everything, because I did not want to, just kind of keep doing this. Nor did I ever make a film in which I acted myself, I cast myself, I would do something like that. So I never felt all those kind of desires. So I always wanted to tell stories which I got that, okay, I want to say this. So that's why my first film was with nobody that I was, working with or I was friendly to. I just picked up two boys, and there was a contemporary story which was going on in Bombay. Of course, it was much ahead of time. Later on, I had to, kind of face all that thing, because it was much ahead of time. And now is the time when people tell me that, Oops is a film which has a content which is, so relevant now that you would be free to see it. Earlier, there were complexes and there were people who were not, okay to see something like that. So I think the world is kind of better. But yeah, as that particular film, I know for a fact that it was very passionately made, and I enjoy being a director. I will continue to be a director. And now what has happened, surprisingly, is because I haven't worked for some time as an actor. But, recently, just some time ago, I stopped dyeing my hair. I didn't want to, get into this look young kind of a feel kind of a thing. So I started keeping this. Right. And you'd be surprised that this is because of OTT, and the whole cinema changed and the digital world coming in, and, there is no relevance to that. You got to look like this to be an actor today. I am getting calls to be actor. I'm getting calls to perform as an actor in a lot of various platforms, like whether it's advertising agencies or whether it is, again, I'm back to doing work as an actor. I recently did one very interesting film, and it's a film called Ittar. So the kind of film that I always look forward and I wanted to do was serious acting stuff, Right. Because I did commercial cinema. I was never taken seriously into this artistic cinema and real cinema. So it so happened that this Veena Bakshi is a friend, and I was not in touch with her. She's an acclaimed national award winner. She made the last film with Nasir Bhai, Ratna Ji, and Randeep Huda. There was a film which was made in English, The Coffin Maker. It won the national award. She's an acclaimed, and they were hosts of the film, and they were all together. And this script came to me. And work as an actor, so I've got a couple of more scripts. So now you will also see me back on screen with a couple of more films as an actor. So I am now kind of doing both, and that's why probably you were told that I've got my kind of hands in too many pies just now. So that is how I am kind of digging and surfing and enjoying the grays and then the silver, which is giving me my potential to explore more as an actor. So I think something that you haven't seen me doing earlier as an actor, you'll probably get a lot to see on that note.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to that. And you touched on the OTT platforms and how that's changed or opened up roles for a host of acting abilities and actors. So you're very, very right. We've seen a lot of comebacks by leading actors through the OTT platform.
Sure.
Why do you think this has been such a significant change in India? Because I don't think it's a global phenomenon. I think it's a very, very India-centric thing, or I might be wrong, but I'll ask you to share your opinion about OTT platforms and how it's transformed the lives of many in India.
Yeah, actually, OTT came in much late out here, because when we used to always go and do shows back in US and all over the places, there was Netflix even then, okay? So we used to be always surprised and wondering that there used to be hoardings all around the city, and the movies on Netflix, movies on some OTT platform, it was like internet. So we didn't have strong internet then. So our internet life has just kind of begun, where we have great speed and we have got good internet connections and, optic fibers everywhere and all that stuff. So I guess we were much late in realizing this whole thing, and that's the reason. But the phenomenon of actors who have stopped working and did not really pursue films after a certain time, doing OTT and doing films and series and web series on OTT, I think it's universal. It is just not in India. It is not just that you are getting to see the Indian actors who were in 90s and 80s and 2000 maybe, who were not pursuing films and who were not doing more films, but now they are seen in those OTT films, OTT platform web series. It's also because the whole dimension, the whole content making process, the whole content is changed. You don't really have to look like a particular way anymore. You don't have to have certain kind of a physique anymore. No matter what body structure you have, no matter what look you possess, you are now the product, the way you look. If I have to cast Manisha, I really don't want Manisha to be looking like a Madhuri Dixit. I want to cast Manisha as what she looks like now, because there's something that really what Madhuri cannot do, what Manisha can do and give me. So that is the difference, and where I don't have to depend upon my audience to pay the money to come and watch Manisha, because she's not Madhuri. They will any which way come and watch Manisha. It doesn't really matter, because if the content is good, then it's going to work. And that's the best part about OTT, which is what has happened. And that's why you see a lot of actors who have been great actors, who've been good actors, and just because they don't fit into that certain amount of commercial cinema, they were not doing so much work. But they were brilliant actors, and they're now all coming out, and we get to see such wonderful content on OTT, which is so beautiful. So I think it really is. It's magical, it's wonderful in every way.
Totally. I'm totally enjoying this new magical world. I'm constantly amazed with what keeps coming out recently from India. On that note, I'm going to ask you a role or a series that has come out recently, which you thought was very well done. It could be on the Indian platforms, or it could be otherwise, but a role or a series that you thought was very well done.
I would probably say that I have been watching a lot of stuff on different platforms, on various platforms. I am actually not very happy with the content that certain amount of sections of Indian makers are making with regards to misusing the OTT platform. Somewhere we get this feeling that, because we've suddenly opened up the avenues and we are talking about no censorship and making it for the world market, people are just going ballistic.
Yes.
People are just out right, left and center where it is not even necessary. They're just seeing to it that they are imposing scenes which are not really a part of story, but they're doing it for the sake of it. So somewhere along the line, we're still misguided. We're still getting the ground, and we're still trying to fit in and get the right things going. So I guess give us another couple of years.
Yeah.
We'll definitely be very good, because we are undoubtedly the best content makers, I feel. Besides the Iranian films that we see, we still are super in our emotional stuff, in our thriller drama series and dramas and what we make in films. we still talked about, we still are, always going to be, Hindi film industry is always going to shine and going to be at par with the Hollywood industry or any other industry. So I'm looking at things to get better. So let's not just pick on from what we have today. Give us another couple of years and I think we'll be able to talk better.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Deepak. Thank you. And now on to what's next on your cards, because I know there's a lot on your plate at the moment, acting, directing. So I'm going to draw in focus onto your upcoming projects and let you tell me what's happening on your end.
Okay, so as an actor, I just told you that I've finished one very beautiful, mature love story of a man who's 50 plus and of a woman who's 45 plus. And it's a beautiful love story, contemporary, made by Veena Bakshi. And there are young producers, Tarun and Karan, who have kind of made an attempt. So I'm looking forward for that. As an actor, we finished filming. It should be coming out sometime in summertime in India and all over the platforms most of the times. Most of the places, I feel. That is one thing which I'm excited about. Then besides that, as an actor, I've got a couple of scripts because as I told you, that because of this look of mine, I think, it's fascinating. Some directors are looking at me doing something very, very refreshing, entirely something that I haven't attempted before. And that's more exciting for me. As an actor, yes, the good times are still coming, which is Baba's blessing. And as a filmmaker, I would say that, of course, there is this movie that I'm already starting. Mind my looking like this. So I'm just about a week away. Generally, the directors are more harrowed. So I'm actually even producing this, producing this. There's Raju Chaddaji, who's my co-producer and the presenter of the film. And I'm making this along with him. It's a film called Tipppsy. So it's a franchise we're trying to create. Yeah, it's a very contemporary kind of a film, which is called Tipppsy, and it's very, very city kind of a metrocentric film. So I am just about a week away, so I'm starting that. Excellent. Then there is another franchise which I created called Tom, Dick and Harry in the year 2006. There was this deaf, dumb, and blind three guys, and it was a comedy. And I'm just we are making another next part to it. It's a kind of a franchise we are continuing of Tom, Dick and Harry Returns. So I'm going to be doing that as well. This year we are looking at finishing both these and at least releasing both these films. So hopefully, as a filmmaker, probably you'll see both these films seeing the light and in 2022. And of course, I'm digging much more even in acting front. So I guess we'll catch up soon. You'll see me more often on screen as well.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that, Deepak. I really am. And with that, I'll say thank you very much for joining me over here on Impact Duty. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you.
Same here, Manisha. It's wonderful. What you're doing out there is absolutely delightful. And I'm happy that you are making us reach the audience which never get to see and know what we're doing out here. So I think it's a beautiful thing that you're doing. So you're making the globe so small and so nice of you. Thank you very much for inviting me and making this interview with me.
Thank you very much, Deepak. Take care.
You too. Take care. See ya.